fashion. And it's such an honor to have you, Linda. I'm so grateful to be collaborating with you, and I'm excited for what you have in store for us.
Aww. Linda!
Hey guys, I'm gonna step on stage because I don't do that anymore that much, so it feels good. Hi! Oh my god. You guys getting here was quite a rush. I just want to say thank you. Before I even start saying anything, I just want to say thank you to all of you for being here. And then to everybody that collaborated in putting this together, from the dancers and the choreographer, my creative team, my business partner, Serene Shepherd, I love you girl. Treble, aka Chills, he's there running around because he's amazing and he's an incredible choreographer. And then everybody at AWA and Julia, my girl over here, the vendors, I mean, I can go on and on and on. So thank you. We are Ubuntu Creative, and I don't know, we put together events and this is one of them. So I hope you enjoy it. We're a fairly new company, but one thing that we want to focus on, my thing is entertainment, and we all love to entertain and being entertained, but I'm really looking for a way to do it with purpose and with integrity, and this is an example of it. So I'm not going to say much about what's coming next, but there is a very special person that I want to introduce, and I'm just going to tell you how we met, because it was super special, and AWA Oasia is part of it. Oh, the mic needs to be, oh, thanks, sorry. You should tell me that, because I'm not a mic person. All right, so Lorelei apparently showed up over here one random morning, and I was putting this together in a rush, and I was looking for a speaker because there is a purpose to this event. And all of a sudden, one day James calls me up and he goes, I found somebody for you. And I was thinking that maybe they were really good friends. But as it turns out, Lorelei just ended up here, was looking for parking, and James let her park in here. And they became friends, and he gave her my number. And that's that. 2 days later, I'm at some premiere event for Bombshell, and we're chatting it up with Nicole Kidman. She is one of the most incredible human beings I have ever met. And so let me just tell you about tonight's purpose. This is a celebration at the culmination of Fashion Week. So we put it together very quickly because we wanted to use this moment, this fashion moment in Los Angeles. However, the thought behind it is that we would like to create an event series that we're hoping will take on a global mission in a sense. And we want to bring together, yeah, come get your ball. Yeah, just toss it at me. We want to basically gather the fashion community, the local fashion community, from the consumer to the designers to the producers, and start the conversation about eco-friendly practices and sustainability. And so we have a whole design around it. Tonight is a little bit different because it's a celebration, but we will be highlighting a designer every time we meet, and then we will be creating opportunity for conversation in the space, so that not only we come together, but we also have a strong purpose, and we design the night so that we can achieve that purpose. So this is how this whole thing started. And then I meet Lorelei, and Lorelei has been in fashion her entire life. I mean, we're talking about Lagerfeld back when, you know, haute couture was the thing, and, you know, we still saw it, used it, venerated it. And yet, she found a way to live fashion with integrity, and she still does. She has this really amazing heart, and we started talking about you know, eco-friendly practices, and she brought up an idea that I never even thought about. So immediately we clicked, and we started talking, and we're gonna move we're gonna move buildings, we're gonna move walls and mountains, and we're gonna change this conversation, and we're gonna bring it to where we want it. And I want to tell a little bit of the story because her and I definitely started talking about body consciousness. That's part of it all. You will see what's gonna happen tonight. I'm gonna leave it as a little bit of a surprise, but we're definitely trying to promote body consciousness, and it was just perfect. The whole thing, the way we clicked, it was just ideal. And tonight she will be representing the true purpose of this event. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Lorelei to the stage. She's gonna be my new best friend. I mean, I hope.
Yeah.
And she's gorgeous. And she picks the steps to come up because she's a classy lady.
Wow, am I enlisted for all that? Okay, well, welcome everybody. It's so great that you're here. And don't be afraid to move in a little closer because I'm here tonight to assist this beautiful woman in creating what is her intention, that is a community of conscious-minded people who are not just fashionable, but fashion-able. And this is, I love to play with words, and I have my models. Please come up and take your place on the stage. So when Linda and I started talking, and she told me, that she was having this event, I said, well, sure, of course I'll do this, of course. When opportunity knocks, don't complain about the noise, right? So I said, okay. And then I started really researching what this conversation is supposed to be about. And I gotta tell you guys, I don't wanna bum you out, but it's not good news. I think most of you know that fashion is the second largest polluter in the world next to oil. So I'm preaching to the choir when I tell you this, but just bear that in mind. I have pages here of notes that I've taken to do this proper speech, and as I read it this morning, I was like, oh my God, I don't want to bum these people out. This is a celebration, right? But there's some things that we need to keep in mind. And so this movement that Linda is creating, and this community, which you are now all a part of, is really about consciousness in fashion. And consciousness is about the choices that we make every day. I say to my boyfriend's daughter, pick your poison. Because look, we're not perfect. None of us are perfect, but we can all do our part in lowering the carbon footprint, lowering the pollution, things like that. My background in fashion, as Linda said, I was a couture model in the 80s over in Paris, and I worked with the great icon designers. I was a muse for Saint Laurent and Karl Lagerfeld and Armani and people like that. And I would stand in front of them while they would make the couture clothes, which were one of a kind. They were the clothes that were made to order. The most expensive clothes in the world. $20,000 to $30,000 for a dress by one woman. Well, those days are over. The princesses in Saudi Arabia and around Europe, they're no longer there. We have ready-to-wear. But the problem has become with ready-to-wear is this little term, a trend called fast fashion. Fast fashion is cheap clothes. It's instant gratification. It's people going to Zara and H&M and Forever 21, and these clothes are just rolled out. I mean, H&M puts out 600 million items a year, okay, for their 3,600 stores around the world. And Americans wear them once, twice, 3 times, maybe 5, and then we toss them out. And when we toss them out, we think, oh, that's okay, it's going to the Goodwill. We're gonna send it over to the third world countries and they're gonna wear them. But here's the thing, they don't want our garbage. Those third world countries, Cambodia, China, Africa, those people, they're getting our clothes and they're like, we don't want this shit. We don't want to wear this stuff, because you know why? We disempower them, because they have their own designers and they have their own clothes and they have their own culture and they have their own styles. And when we try to put our stuff, our garbage on them, then their own designers don't get to reproduce and sell and provide for their own families. And then that brings in another thing. Then we talk about sweatshops. We're all concerned, oh my God, these deplorable practices of these sweatshops with these children and these people that are working in harmful conditions. Well, that's really a drag as we see it. But to them, it's a job. So when we boycott them, we take away their livelihood. They can't feed their families. And don't get me started on the pollution. Every time we go and order something on Amazon and we decide we don't like it and we send it back, more carbon footprint, more shipping and receiving, more packaging, more peanuts, more plastic, more garbage, more stuff that's just wasted. And we, as Americans, we must be grateful for what we have and the fact that we can have the things that we want. But I think what consciousness is about the choices we make when we go shopping or when we are scrolling online. Do I really need that? And if I get that, am I really going to wear it? And so, I know a lot of you guys know this, and I don't want to bring down the party, but these are the things that we need to talk about, because, for me, if it's not deep, I don't want to talk about it. If it's just surface bullshit, I'm not interested. I like talking about things that matter, and it's because I have principles, and I think we all do. That's why we're here. And some of the things that are happening is we're polluting the rivers, okay? The rivers are being polluted with toxic chemicals from dyes. Cotton is the thirstiest planet in the world. So if we think we're buying cotton and it's a really cool thing because we're buying cotton, don't forget that 10% of that, even the organic cotton, is creating pesticides. It needs pesticides, it needs herbicides. Even if you're buying an organic cotton tagged item, that is being dyed, and that dye is going in the rivers. I mean, it's a shit show. Sorry for my language, but let's be real. They don't want our garbage. 12 countries in the world have banned Americans sending our unwanted, unused clothing over there to their countries. Shipping and receiving, what else? So our clothes continue to impact the environment long after the purchase of a t-shirt. Do you know it takes 5,000 gallons of water to create a pair of jeans that you wear? And the t-shirt, about half that. That's a lot of water. So we're depleting the environment. Okay, fine. What are we gonna do? We love clothes. We all have to get up and get dressed every day. And I'm standing here in a dress that's made out of jersey. It's not made out of cotton. And I created a brand, and you see my beautiful dream dress gals. I created the dream dress for all women. That is a dress that could be worn 12 ways. And there's multiple things that I thought about when I was going to create this one dress. How could I be of service? How could I do my part? And I think that's the question that we all want to ask ourselves, is pick our poison. Like, okay, so I'm going to wear clothes, I'm going to buy clothes, but what can I do to lower the carbon footprint? Or what can I do to help someone else? So the good news is, and let's all just revel in this for a moment, California is the first state in the union to ban the wearing, the buying, the purchasing of fur. Okay, number one, we don't need fur. They need it in Antarctica. We don't need fur here in Southern California, okay? So, but not only that, they are also banning the selling. You can't even take your grandma's fur and donate it. It's illegal now. That's pretty heavy. And somebody made that happen. Those companies, those organizations like Petra, is it Petra? PETA, thank you. PETA, and they got together and they were activists. So the good news is we can take part of this. It's not all bad news. We can all make choices and do things that will help and that will lower the problem. And some of the things, number one for me is respect your clothes. Like, I love my clothes. I'm an old lady. I have clothes that have had in my closet for over 30 years. People say, okay, one of the things you can do is shop vintage. I went to a red carpet affair. I wore a Saint Laurent satin gown. And someone came up to me with a microphone and said, what a great dress. Where'd you get that dress? I said, oh my God, this is Saint Laurent from like 30 years ago. They said, oh, you shop vintage? I was like, shop vintage? This has been in my closet for 30 years. So, it's like buy classic things that you can wear for over and over and for years to come. When you invest your money in something, take care of it. And I'm sure you guys all have, somebody, come on, tell me, what is your way of contributing? Do you shop in Goodwill stores? Do you? Indigenous resource. Indigenous sourcing. So you're getting your sourcing from what? Third world countries? Tribes. Okay, great. So that's a great solution. So there's somebody that's put some thought into it. And I think that's what consciousness is about, is just putting some thought into it. When we buy something or when we throw something away, where does it go? So there are charity organizations. When I designed the dream dress, I thought, okay, I want to create this dress. I want a dress that a woman can wear 12 different ways. I want her to be able to wear it anywhere, all day, from day to dinner. And what can I do with my profits? So what we want to do is look for companies that have a consciousness base. They're doing something. They're either contributing a percentage of their profits, or they're helping other people. So I have on my, for example, just as an idea, if you're a designer in the room, it's called Share and Care. So if somebody buys my dress and they decide it's not for them, I say wear it and share it. You can donate that to a company who is also on my page called Working Wardrobes, and Working Wardrobes is Orange County. They've got a 6,000 square foot space where they collect clothes and they help veterans, people transitioning out of prison, and people getting back into the workforce. And they don't just give them one outfit. Dress for Success will do that, and that's a good organization too. They give them an entire wardrobe, so when they go out on job interviews, it's not just one job interview. Come on, you don't get the first job every time. And so Working Wardrobes. So what I'm saying is, when you do decide to discard your clothes, make sure they're going to an organization that's actually doing something. Goodwill, the company, is a misnomer. That's a for-profit organization. So Salvation Army, AMVETS, Working Wardrobes, Dress for Success, things like that. Places like that. And another thing you can do is, if you're gonna buy clothes that don't need to be dry cleaned. Wash them. Wash them yourself. Wash them in biodegradable detergent. Wash them in low temperatures. Things like that. These are ways that we can help, that we can do our little part. Because like I said, we're not perfect. But we can have a conscience. I was working on a campaign for Marianne Williamson when she was running for a local Congress here in Los Angeles. And she said, it's not enough to go to yoga and say you're conscious. We need to be conscious about everything. And she got me politically conscious, and I think that's her biggest mission. So I guess what Linda wants to do here tonight and what we're trying to do is launch this group, and we are a community, and let's start talking about these things and let's make a difference. Because if you can't do any of the above, what you can do is, if you're upset about those sweatshops or you're upset about the environment, you can become an activist. You can go and volunteer for PETA or whatever you want to do, but we all can make that choice, and we can all be a part of helping this dirty little business that fashion has created. And those furs that your grandmother left you, make them into pillows, make them into blankets, make them into stuffed animals. And if you can't sew, find someone who can. Somebody in your family, the local cleaners always has someone. Take your clothes and reinvent your clothes. And, you know, let's just not waste. And that's the good news. The good news is that there's stuff we can do. And my girls here who are dressed in the dream dress, or are wearing chiffon and jersey spandex, the only thing that I could do with my dream, and we all have dreams and we should pursue our dreams, is how could I do this? How could I give back? How could I lower the carbon footprint? And so, girls, stand up and give them a twirl and show them what ladies, sexy ladies, look like. So I invite you all to all the future events, and there's going to be dancing, there's going to be a beautiful show coming up, and I thank you, Linda, for inviting me, and I hope I didn't bore you, and I just hope that, you know, that we can all just stay on this this path of enlightenment, awareness, and love of fashion. Be creative, be frugal, be happy, and be fashion-able. I love you. Thanks.
Nice.